You want to know why the PS Vita refuses to die even in 2020? Here's proof that people are still actively playing on it. There's a website that tells you how many people are left playing on the PlayStation Vita. And would you believe? There's a good amount. Want to see how it works? Keep watching. The site is called gamstat, and it tells you roughly how many people are playing a certain game. So far, the data collected only supports games for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and most importantly, the PlayStation Vita, which is the reason why I'm making this video for you guys. Now, this neat little trick was brought to my attention by Food4Dogs. Check her out if you've got the time. It's a quiet, cozy little channel that covers various Vita-related topics. You might like it. Tell Britta I said hi. Alright, back to the video. I'm not going to get into the whole logistics of it all because, quite frankly, I'm not exactly really sure how it works. It has something to do with the whole trophy system and the My PS4 life leak, which happened a while back. From my understanding, data that's collected from trophies achieved on the PlayStation Network is used to calculate how many active users there are for a particular game. The guy running the site explains it, but at the risk of me getting the information wrong, I'm just not even gonna try. You can read it for yourself when you get a chance. I just know there's some sort of mathematical equation that's used to generate that number. The results are quite interesting, and if the data is indeed accurate, then maybe, just maybe, the Vita still has some life left in it. I know, right? Finally, some good news. So what kind of stats are we talking about besides the total player count of a particular game? Well, for one, it shows us how many new players are playing each month. The new player stat is a little tricky though. It's stated somewhere on the site that this doesn't necessarily mean new copies of the game are sold, but rather someone has just started playing the game for the first time. So for example, that person could have had the game for a while and have now just decided to play it. Or that person could have borrowed a copy of the game from a friend. Or maybe they could have purchased a used copy of that game as well. It's also possible that that person could have made a brand new PSN account to play that game. All that factors into the new player stat. And then there's the monthly active users, which I'm assuming is how many people are currently playing each month. Or more precisely, how many logged on for that month. I was pretty excited when I found out about this, but was a little disappointed when I started thinking about it. It's great to see there are indeed people on the PS Vita, but unfortunately, I don't think this metric alone tells the whole story. Like, what is the audience retention on this to be exact? Did the person just sign in to play for a few minutes, log out, and never play the game again? Does that contribute to the monthly active users? If anyone seeing this can better explain it to me, then please do so in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I feel like a more accurate representation of user engagement would be daily active users. Like how many people are signing in to play each day. I think knowing those numbers would make me feel a lot better. Still, I think the monthly active users is an important piece of data to have, as it tells you how many people are actually signing in on the PS Vita, regardless of whether they return or not. Although it's nowhere near the amount of total players, it is a little reassuring to know that people are still somewhat interested in what the PS Vita has to offer. Here's something else I found interesting. Let's take Uncharted Golden Abyss for example. The total player count is 2,700,000. Out of the 2,700,000, 2,400,000 earned at least one trophy. I'm not sure why I found that interesting. Maybe it's just me. Now, if you scroll down, it also shows you the popularity of the game by region and by country, all of which you guys can browse on your own. Oh, here's another thing that I found interesting. For all the PS Vita games I've searched, I've noticed the monthly active users never drop below 1K, which shows there is still a healthy community left playing on the PS Vita. But then again, how many of those are going to return for the next month? It's also funny how you can look up old games that you thought would be considered dead. I mean, I think it's amazing people are still playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and the fact that it's still getting new players each month. I'm pretty sure I know what data you guys really want me to look up. Of course, I had to find out how many people were signing in to play Killzone Mercenary. You know how much I love that game, since I can never shut up about it. And unsurprisingly, there is still a decent amount. For the previous month, it managed to bring in over 2,700 new players, with about 7,200 monthly active users. And the second game I immediately looked up was my personal favorite, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. Yet again, I'm not surprised the new player count and monthly active users far surpass even Killzone Mercenary. I mean, come on, it's Call of Duty. But who can forget Borderlands 2? Oh, precious Borderlands 2. I was a little surprised at the data for Borderlands 2, however. Seeing how everyone on here is always praising that game, I'd figured it would have a higher monthly active number. And lastly, I had to check on Persona 4 Golden. As you can tell by the numbers, I was very happy to see that this game is still going strong, representing the most active monthly users that I managed to find on the PlayStation Vita. Let me know if you find a Vita game with a higher monthly active user. I can't help but feel so proud after vouching for this game for so many years. Proof that this title is the greatest game on the PlayStation Vita. That's right, I said it. All joking aside, this should be a clear indication that Sony's little handheld is not quite ready to say goodbye. By the numbers, it would appear there are more and more people starting to show support for the PlayStation Vita each month. I hope the site gets updated with more information. Hopefully, maybe in the future, we can see what the daily active user is. It is nice, however, to see people signing in each month, regardless of whether they decide to stay or not, is another story, but it can't be overlooked that something has piqued their interest. Yup, I guess my work on YouTube is now complete. I can finally start covering Nintendo Switch games. Just kidding. This is indeed a great tool and can prove valuable further down the road. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, it would be nice if we knew what the daily active users were. Also, as it stands, the site only supports the 3 Sony platforms, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and the PlayStation Vita. But there is a Patreon set up to help include other systems like Xbox, so if you're interested in helping out, check out the link. After finding out about this site, I feel like the Vita just got a new lease on life. Maybe not a full resurrection, but perhaps just enough HP to last a little bit longer. Check out the site. Tell me what you think. Are you surprised by the numbers? And if you want to see more PlayStation Vita content, then click on the top video. If you want to see what games are worth playing on the Vita, then click on the video underneath it. Also, don't forget to subscribe for everything PlayStation Vita related. Later, guys.